Let's dive right into this explainer, where we're going to trace the absolutely fascinating journey of a single drop of water as it transforms into an industrial powerhouse. Most of us just turn on the tap and don't give a second thought to where that water comes from, or honestly, more importantly, what's hiding inside it. But in the world of heavy industry, water isn't just for hydration. It is the literal lifeblood of some incredibly massive machinery.
So we need to start by challenging our basic assumptions about clean water. Because for multi-billion-dollar facilities, everyday drinking water is actually full of dangerous impurities. Think about it for a second. The water you and I safely drink at home has naturally dissolved minerals in it. But if you were to put that exact same tap water into a high-pressure boiler or the critical cooling system of a massive power plant, it would be a complete and total disaster.
To understand exactly how we achieve this extreme level of purity, let's take a quick look at our roadmap for today. We'll start with a quest for pure water, move into stage 1 where we clump the dirt, and then look at clarifying and filtering. After that, we'll get into achieving industrial ultra-purity, the machinery behind the magic, and wrap up with the true power of clean water.
All right, Section 1, the quest for pure water and setting our baseline.
A water treatment plant, or WTP, takes raw water directly from rivers or lakes and meticulously strips away suspended solids, dissolved impurities, and microorganisms. You see, raw water is wild. It's packed with everything from obvious dirt and sticks down to entirely invisible dissolved chemicals and biological threats. So a water treatment plant is essentially this highly orchestrated gauntlet designed to systematically peel away every single one of those unwanted elements, layer by layer.
Moving right along to Section 2, Stage 1 of the actual process, clumping the dirt through coagulation and flocculation. First up, intake structures and massive pumps pull raw water from the wild, screening out leaves and plastics to protect the downstream equipment right before we add a chemical coagulant. That initial raw water intake is kind of like a giant sieve. We absolutely have to get rid of the big, bulky trash like sticks and stones so they don't wreck the delicate, super expensive pumps inside the facility. Once the water is safely inside, we introduce a coagulant, usually something like alum or PAC, and this is where the physical process takes a turn and becomes a chemical one. The chemical magic here is just fascinating. Coagulation neutralizes the electrical charges that keep tiny particles apart, while flocculation gently mixes them until they combine. Imagine thousands of microscopic dirt particles floating in the water, acting exactly like magnets with the same polarity. They naturally repel each other, right? They refuse to settle down. Well, the coagulant comes in and essentially turns those magnetic forces off. Suddenly, the particles aren't repelling anymore. Then, through the gentle mixing of flocculation, we encourage those neutralized particles to bump into each other and bind together. So, the really crucial point here is that these heavier combinations are called flocks, and creating them is absolutely essential for the next step of our drops journey. By intentionally turning thousands of microscopic, floating specks of dirt into a single, heavy clump, we're basically giving gravity the leverage it desperately needs to do its job. Which brings us to Section 3. Clarifying and filtering, taking us from sedimentation all the way to disinfection.
The water enters a clarifier where gravity does all the heavy lifting, settling those heavy flocks into sludge at the bottom, while clearer water simply escapes from the top. Because those flocks we just engineered are heavy, they naturally want to sink. The clarifier is basically a giant, quiet holding pool where the water slows down just enough for that settling to happen completely uninterrupted. The resulting sludge gets scraped away from the bottom, and the surprisingly clear water left on the surface just flows right over the edge to continue its journey. That clarified water then passes through filter media, like sand or activated carbon, for physical straining. This is followed by targeted disinfection to destroy any surviving bacteria and viruses. Think of the sand and gravel filters as physical sponges that trap any rogue, fine suspended particles that simply didn't settle out earlier. Then the activated carbon goes a step further, absorbing specific organic contaminants. Finally, to make absolutely sure no living microorganisms remain, we hit the water with strong disinfectants like chlorine, UV light, or ozone. Now, for normal, everyday purposes, this water is incredibly clean. But remember our original question about power plants?
That leads us into Section 4, achieving industrial ultrapurity through RO and demineralization.
Many industries and power plants rely on reverse osmosis, or RO, a process that forces water through a semi-permeable membrane under extreme pressure. This is a total game changer for industrial applications. We aren't just filtering out physical particles anymore with sand or gravel. We are now operating on a purely molecular level.
This membrane acts as the ultimate bouncer, rejecting almost all dissolved salts and impurities, while allowing only the pure water molecules to pass through. It takes immense mechanical pressure to literally squeeze the water through these microscopic pores, but the result is water that's been completely stripped of the dissolved minerals that easily survive the earlier standard filtration processes.
For power plant boilers, we actually have to take it one step further with a demineralization, or DM plant, where ion exchange resins completely strip away any remaining dissolved ions like calcium, magnesium, and sodium. This right here is how we reach absolute ultrapurity. These specialized ion exchange resins swap out any stubborn mineral ions like calcium, which causes hardscale, or highly corrosive chloride, and replace them, leaving essentially nothing behind but pure H2O molecules.
So if we look at the simplified process flow for a power plant, it looks like this. The raw water hits the clarifier, moves to the carbon filter, passes through the RO and DM plants, and finally emerges as ultra-pure boiler feed water. Notice how this whole process perfectly escalates. It goes from simple physical screening to gravity settling, all the way up to highly advanced molecular ion exchange. Step by step, the water becomes pure enough to feed the incredibly demanding boilers and turbines of a major industrial facility.
Let's move to Section 5 and look at the main equipment, the machinery behind the magic.
This entire process is made possible by a vast array of vital equipment, from the initial intake screens and flash mixers all the way to the highly advanced RO systems and final storage tanks. Every single piece of equipment in this chain plays a critical, independent role. Think about it. If your chemical dosing system fails, your flocculator won't work properly. That overloads your sand filters, which ultimately ruins your incredibly expensive RO membranes. It is a finely tuned mechanical symphony that literally cannot skip a single beat. Finally, we reach Section 6, the power of clean water, its benefits, and its true impact. Treating water to this extreme degree is vital because it prevents destructive scaling and corrosion. This significantly improves plant efficiency, extends equipment life, and drastically reduces maintenance costs. Think about the calcium buildup you might see on your shower head at home, right? Now multiply that by 1,000 and put it inside a high-pressure, superheated power plant boiler. That scaling can cause massive blockages and catastrophic heat transfer failures. By removing those minerals up front, industries save millions in repairs, avoid disastrous operational shutdowns, and stay within strict environmental compliance.
Returning to the Rupor nuclear power plant example from earlier, we see that generating steam and running cooling systems demands this ultrapurity, as even the smallest impurities can trigger catastrophic damage. In a facility like Rupor, precision isn't just a goal, it's a non-negotiable necessity. A tiny impurity in the water, cooling a nuclear reactor, or spinning a high-speed, high-pressure turbine can completely compromise plant safety and ruin massive operational efficiencies. The water treatment plant ensures that simply never happens.
It is truly fascinating to consider how the entire lifespan and efficiency of a monumental industrial facility ultimately hinges on the microscopic purification of a single drop of water. From raw river water dodging intake screens, to neutralizing electrical charges, to surviving the extreme pressures of reverse osmosis membranes, that single drop undergoes an incredible journey. Which leaves us with a compelling thought to close on. Next time you look at a massive industrial plant, ask yourself, how is it that the largest machines we ever build are entirely dependent on successfully managing the absolute smallest dissolved ions in nature? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning and keep asking the big questions.